So I don't even know what I just said there. I finally finished um, the first episode, well, not first episode, first season of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. And it's hit or miss. I was excited when she was announced. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I didn't see her actually regenerate. Um, you know, like when this was coming out. I do remember seeing the trailer and seeing Jodie Whittaker out. And people just being pissed. Um, I was still a bit young and didn't really know why people were pissed back then. I was like 14 and didn't know how bad sexism still is today. And I was just kind of confused at people's such a negative reaction and why people were so pissed. But I definitely see it now, unfortunately. Her first episode's fucking amazing. It is one I've seen before, too. She meets these companions, Ryan, Graham, and Yaz. Graham is by far my favorite companion out of the three. Though I like all of them, Graham is my favorite. He's just fucking hilarious. And he can be a badass at times, too. The writing is a bit at times, and other times it just kind of beats you over the head with what they're trying to do. Like, Doctor Who was more subtle when they did stuff in the past, and here it's just like in the later episode that I still really enjoy, um, when Graham wants to kill the creature that had killed his wife. It's just like, no, killing's bad. Like, it's just way too in your face. Um, but anyway, let's talk about this episode. It's really fucking good. There's a gay couple that gets killed in it that I'm really sad about. Wait, no, that's the other one. The first episode, it's this creature, and he just looks amazing, and he's got like teeth implanted in his skin, and it's from like all his previous people he's killed. It's just really fucking cool. I really like his design. I hope we see more of his race in the next two seasons. I don't know if we will. I mean, it seems like it's just kind of a one and done creature, you know. He'd set up some backstory for the companions, and they later defeated him in another episode. Um, Second episode's pretty good. They're trying to find the ghost monument. Spoiler: the ghost monument ends up being the TARDIS or blah blah blah. It's a decent episode. It has probably one of my favorite things with Jodie, just by the delivery and the line itself, where she says, "Come to Papa, I mean Mommy, I mean," and she's just all confused because she's just recently turned into a woman. She's been a man for all her other regenerations, so she's not used to being a woman. It's a funny joke. The third episode, I didn't care for it. It's about Rosa Parks. I've always said using a real person can be hit or miss when you use it. Take Vincent van Gogh, for example. He was a real person. He struggled with depression and he ended up killing himself. And he was an artist. And a few seasons back with Matt Smith, we had a Vincent van Gogh episode that is beloved. People love that episode. This Rosa Parks one, it's kind of eh. I didn't hate it. I feel like that's a lot of Jodie Whittaker's episodes is they're just fine, but with Doctor Who, usually all the episodes are either good or amazing. Um, Eventually they have to be a part of history because, there's not enough people on the bus to take up seats or whatever to tell Rosa Parks to get off the bus, so her and her companions have to stay on the bus. And Graham's like, I don't want to be a part of this, but he has to be. It's just a fine episode. The next episode talks about Trump. We have this real douchebag character that doesn't like Trump, and I do like that. I like the fact that we have a character that is a bad person that doesn't like Trump. Because, you know, I feel like too often now people will see someone say that they're a Kamala supporter and they're not a Trump supporter. And people will immediately assume they're a good person. Um, because there's so many people who don't support Trump who are still bad people. Like, yeah, Trump's a really bad guy, but just because they don't support them automatically makes them a good person. Like, take the wrestler Batista, for example. He's done some pretty shitty things. Like, he wrote a book about his wife that he cheated on and how he was the victim. And he hates Trump. Um, and he has lesbian moms that he openly supports. It doesn't mean he's a good person. Like, he's done shitty things. At least in my opinion. Some people still have a high opinion of Batista. But I do personally enjoy the fact that this guy's a little shithead, but he also hates Trump. Um, so this episode's about spiders. It's a pretty decent episode. I actually enjoyed this one a lot. And the spiders have mutated because of like them not really caring about where they built the place and toxic waste and shit, blah blah blah. We get this really giant spider that the guy kills. And yeah, it's a pretty solid episode. I enjoyed it. The next episode's about this creature that just really, really wants to eat the ship that the Doctor and the companions are on. And there's a few other people there, like this alien that is on his planet. I guess men can get pregnant, and pregnancies also only last a week. Um, he's really only there to develop Ryan more. Um, so there's honestly not much to say about it. I guess it was cool to see a different way aliens reproduce and shit. And it also leads questions now that I've watched the finale of the new Doctor Who, spoilers, with Nusigati. The fact that Time Lords are apparently infertile. So I wonder why there was billions of people on there then. And I'm pretty sure like the Doctor had a daughter and he is like a grandpa or whatever. So like I don't know how family trees work in Doctor Who. For the Doctor, for Time Lords. Um, but it's a decent episode. I enjoyed it. Um, like I said, a lot of the episodes are just decent. The 6 episodes more for character development of Yaz, and she wants to learn more about her grandma. She finds out that her grandma's story isn't as happy as she thought, and that's pretty much it. It's a decent episode. Episode 7 is Kerblam, and wow, has it aged well. It's an episode about this guy who's mad about losing jobs and robots are taking over, and that is a genuine fear that we have today with AI. So, wow, like I said, this episode has aged well. Um, I do think it's a pretty good episode. Um, the guy's motivation was kind of like he's gonna go murder a bunch of people that are lucky enough to have jobs just to prove a point. I'm like, it's kind of weird in my opinion. Maybe somebody else can describe it better, but I didn't care for it. The 8th episode is The Witchfinders. It's a decent episode. Uh, it's like I said, it's just a decent episode. It's about the witch trials, which is something I learned about in history. I'm sure most people did learn about the witch trials in history, which unfortunately was a thing where women would be accused of being a witch and then they just get murdered. Like, just, I can't believe that was illegal. That's just wild. And they don't even touch on that much. They just kind of be like, oh, this person's a really bad person. And it's kind of just Like I said, the episodes are fine. The companions are really cool. I like the companions. I like Jodie. It's just the episodes themselves are just weak. It takes you away. Episode 10. Episode 9, actually, I think. It Takes You Away is an episode where this girl is left abandoned in a cabin and she's blind and she believes a monster has taken her dad and that it comes around at the same time every day, so she has to stay in the house. It turns out that this piece of shit dad apparently found like this alternate universe where his wife is still alive and he's been sneaking off to go see her. And he used the thing to keep her in the house. Like, how cruel is that? Because even if she did get, far enough to the fucking radio thing, like whatever he had hooked up that was making the monster noises, she wouldn't have known it unless she touched it. Like, this girl's blind, If she would have got out there, all the way out there, and fucking heard that roar so close to her, she could have had a heart attack and fucking died. If she didn't pay attention to the fact that it came out at certain times of the day and she just tried to escape one day. Like, they just kind of gloss over the fact that this dad set up a radio to scare the shit out of his blind, handicapped daughter and keep her in her fucking her fucking house. It's just very strange. Like, he defends it. She's a teenager. She can cook for herself and blah, blah, blah. But no, man. What you're doing is fucked. Like I said, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but if she were to, get far out there and to hear that roar, if she wasn't blind, she could go out there and she could see that the thing was just a radio. But if she were to go out there, she's blind and she can't see that. So she could just walk right past it or trip over it. It's just whatever. I did enjoy the episode itself. It was fine. Now, episode 10, I really enjoyed. Episode 10, they bring back the creature that had killed Graham and Ryan's family member. It's Graham's wife and it's Ryan's grandma. And Graham, understandably, wants to get revenge, but the doctor is not having it. But it's kind of weak. Like, the episode itself, I enjoy it, but what I'm talking about is the doctor's way of telling him off about it. Like, she's just kind of, she doesn't really do much about it. Like, take David Tennant, for example. If someone were going to try and kill somebody, he would do everything in his power to stop them. And he would yell at them. He would be really fucking pissed at them. Or Matt Smith in his very first episode when he had thought that he had to fucking genocide a race because of how the people were treating this creature. Like, Jodie does have her moments. But right here, it's just kind of like, she's like, no, you're not going to do it. I'm not going to let you. And it's just kind of like, come on now. And that's nothing against Jodie. That is the writing. Like, they should have wrote her having more of a rebuttal. More of her not wanting Graham to literally murder somebody. But she's just kind of chill about it. She doesn't put up that much of a fight. Of course, Graham doesn't end up actually doing it. And the Joe's got to shove it down her face that he's stronger than most people because he didn't murder somebody. Like, he's like, I'm too weak to do it. No, you're strong. Like, okay. The episode itself, I still really enjoyed it. It's just some of the stuff I didn't like about it. But it's probably one of my favorite episodes of hers so far. Besides the first episode is a really good first introductory episode. And it can be creepy at times. It can be fun. It can be silly. It's a really good episode. So yeah, that is the 10th episode. And there's also this guy named like It's something with a P, and he's slowly regaining his memory. That is a pretty cool concept too. I like that. Though Doctor Who has done stuff like that before, I liked it still. I still think it worked here. Final episode to talk about is the Christmas special. Weird that they brought the Daleks into a Christmas special. I don't know if they've ever done that before. I don't think they have. But maybe they thought that it would help the ratings. I don't know if this show was doing bad or not because I was watching cable and I didn't really pay attention to ratings and shit back when I started watching this show. I have seen this episode before too. It's funny that I've seen the first episode and the Christmas special so far. Though it's not actually a Christmas special, it's a New Year's Eve special. Because apparently Chris Crimsbull, or whoever the writer was, I think it was Chris Crimsbull, wanted to branch out and didn't want to do a Christmas special. He wanted to do a New Year's Eve special. So this special isn't called a Christmas special. It's called a holiday special, which I found a little silly when I first read that it was called a holiday special. I was like, what's that supposed to mean? Until I watched the actual episode. So, yeah, I really love this episode. Some of the best acting in the series so far. Ryan confronts his dad, which I think is an amazing moment. He ends up forgiving his dad like a little too quickly, and he's only really doing it because his dad's facing death, which I thought was kind of lazy. But I do like a lot of this episode. Once again, like there's stuff I don't like about it, but I still like it. I do think throughout the series so far, they have made the Doctor a little dense at times, where she can't figure something out, so a companion will point it out. It's not to say that previous companions were dumb and the Doctor was always doing everything, but the Doctor's usually the one that comes up with the solutions. But a lot of times in this show, it's somebody else figures something out and she goes, "Great job, Yaz. Great job, Ryan. Great job, Graham." Like, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. Not exactly a criticism, but I personally find it weird that so much of the show is the companions figuring out shit that the Doctor would normally do. Hell, Yaz is super smart, just like the Doctor. They like both speak at the same time in one episode with the same sentences, and they figure this shit out. I think it's actually this episode right here. Oh no, it was the previous episode, the finale. I had watched episode 9, 10, and 11 back to back because those episodes were actually pretty good. The other ones I had stretched out a bit because I really wasn't feeling this season. Like, Jodie still did really good and the companions did really good. It's just I didn't care for the writing as much or the episodes that they were doing. I really hope season 2's better. So the Dalek is fucking really cool here. We mainly see it out of its suit. Eventually it's in its suit and it's using spare parts so it doesn't look the greatest, and I love that. Like, that's really cool. Like how one of them was rusty, or the ninth robot, not the ninth robot, the ninth Doctor and his Dalek, you know, it didn't look too much different from the Daleks, but at the same time it looks different. I like that. So yeah, this is a really good episode. This poor guy talks about how he's like the only person that can do this thing, and he's got a boyfriend. I remember feeling so bad for him when he died as a kid when I watched this episode, and I still feel bad for him. Doctor Who's good like that sometimes. They'll introduce a character, they'll have one scene, and they'll die, and you'll feel bad for him. I don't know how they're so good at that. Because horror movies don't usually do that to me, and I watch a lot of horror movies where characters I like die, but nothing really hits as much as Doctor Who for some reason. They defeat the Dalek by like throwing it into a fucking supernova, and like, Jesus, really fucking cool ending. And you know, Ryan forgives his dad or whatever. I wonder if he'll still appear. I don't think he will, personally, but he might.